We have today a unique combination of a 60s Strat with the 80s shred machine. So a guitar combining the features that you would associate with a vintage guitar, with something that comes straight from the 80s. So let me quickly walk you through the specs, and then we will, as always, go through some sounds of this guitar. So what I have here is a Fender Custom Shop limited edition Black Lightning Stratocaster, which features both words, the old school and the more modern or the classic rock school. From the vintage world, we have the classic alder body. It's a relic, heavy relic guitar, so you will have scratches, dings, you know, tears, wears and tears, of course all over the body. You will have a maple neck with a satin worn out finish. You will have, of course, all the scars in the headstock, but other than that, we have a maple neck with oval C shape, very comfy neck, alder body. We have a rosewood fretboard with a lighter shade of rosewood. It's not very dark, but it's quite thick. Here we have also the same nitro lacquer. We have black over sunburst, so we have two colors indeed, and then we have, of course, the wears in the area where you would touch with your arm. Fat 50 singles in the neck and in the middle, 5-way switch. Nothing fancy here. Volume, tone, so volume is a master volume tone for neck and middle, and then the tone for the bridge. And we have a vintage non-locking tuners and the standard Stratocaster headstock shape with the logo, with the Custom Shop logo in the back. And that's the vintage world. As far as the more modern or more 80s oriented features, we have easily visible Floyd Rose original bridge. It works one way, it's not recessed bridge, so you only mainly use it down to lower the pitch of your notes. You can slightly pull it upwards, but then it's even, I think, a bit less than the vintage tremolo set properly. Still, it's something that you can use definitely for huge dive bombs. Of course, in order to keep the tuning stable, we have a locking nut to accompany it. We have a quite unusual 12-inch radius here, so it's rather flat. You might know that Floyd Rose bridge is something that you don't set the string height here in the saddles. You should always select the bridge that is specific for this particular radius. So here we have 12-inch radius of the fretboard, and we have a 12-inch radius specific Floyd Rose. And then we have in the bridge a very interesting classic pickup, which is DiMarzio 151 tone zone, more rock oriented, but it's not very aggressive. It's rather in the it lives in the higher mid-range. And that's pretty much it. As for the specs, we will have some close-ups, so as you go through this video, you will get also some close-ups of this guitar. So now let's go through the sounds. Let's start with clean sounds. You will notice that in the first two positions, for first three positions, neck, middle, and middle, you will get very familiar 60 Strat sound, the glassy, roundy tone. But as you go towards the position 4 or 2, however you want to number it, and the bridge position, you will get more rocky sound, more mid-rangey, maybe not so usable on the clean tones, but very usable and useful in the drive. So let's start with some clean sounds. Let's go through the chords and some licks. So immediately you notice that the bridge position and the position with added middle coil is quite mid-rangey. It's not very bright. It's rather something that you would use for overdrives probably than the clean sounds. Nevertheless, it's there. The interesting thing about the position 4, so where you have the middle coil and the bridge pickup, it doesn't auto split. So you have the full humbucker and the middle pickup. That's why it's sounding not as quacky as you would maybe expect from the Stratocaster. And also in many modern Stratocasters you will have an auto split here, so you will only have one of the coils, the outer coil of the humbucker, and the middle. Here you have the whole humbucker and the middle coil. So let's get a bit more crunchy. Let's see how this turns out. So in the crunch we are starting to hear why the humbucker in the bridge and why these positions here, because they get fatter and they get more punchy as we get some more compression in the mid-range. So still the neck position or the neck middle, they stay true to the Strat vibes, very glassy, roundy tones, but here in the position where we have middle and bridge, we start to hear the impact of tone zone. Tone zone is defined as a pickup that has this very distinct nasal sound, which means that it has a lot of mid-range with some bite, but it's not very bright. It's rather bassy, it's rather maybe more dull sounding in the clean sounds. And here we, instead of a quack, we hear the nasal sound, and even more in the bridge. So as we proceed with more and more overdrive, it should be more noticeable. So let's give it a try. Gives more and more power. Still, the neck middle coils on their own or together, they are clear. The feeling from this guitar is like it has the perfect neck, the perfect shape. You can get the feeling of really vintage vibe, but you can also shred if you can, not unlike me. Or you can even, really concentrate on rock riffs, and you'll be good.
Thank you.